My friends, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Hope this video is helpful to you. Once again, Tuesday, Thursday videos. I want to run down just a bunch of charts that I'm going to be looking at overall market-wise. Today we'll look at SPY, NVDA, MULN, AMC, GME, Oxy, Tesla, and Carvana, which are going to be the videos that I did on Tuesday. So I will try to always do kind of like follow-ups as far as here's what I'm looking at on Tuesday, and then here's how we followed up on Thursday. Okay, so if you haven't done so already, please follow me on Twitter, Colin_Glabman, easiest way to keep up with charts. Also too, I am running a special for the rest of the month of February, 20% off your first month. If you'd like to join the Discord, shoot me a DM on Twitter if you would like to join. Pretty much every single day we're talking, and we're talking about, you know, charts and just having a good time and trades. And the nice thing about it is it's kind of a room for devil's advocate, if you will. Like somebody posts, hey, here's what I'm looking at on this trade, and then you can look at it and go, okay, well, I could look at it like this, or I see this, you see this, I see that. So it's just a great room to kind of bounce ideas off of each other in, and like I said, just to have a good time, make gains. That's the goal of the market, right? So let's jump into the chart. On SPY, I tweeted out yesterday that this is basically what was called on the daily, is called a bearish harami, and it's an inside bar, so it's both, okay? So an inside bar is basically where you have an entire candle inside the bar of the previous candle. However, this leans bearish because you have a big bullish candle followed by a small bearish candle, which really, if you put these two candles together, I'll just draw it out for you. It's going to be ugly because it's hard to draw this stuff. But a very bearish candle altogether is going to be a shooting star candle, okay? Which is, and that's terrible. But long wig at the top, small body at the bottom, that's a bearish candle. If you think about this, if you put these two candles together back to back, so you had a big candle to start with, then you got a little, God, that's terrible. Sorry. Bearish candle. But essentially, if you would look at it, that would be like you would have a long wick with a small close at the bottom. So it's basically a two candle version of a shooting star, which both shooting stars slash hammer candles. I love shooting stars at the top of trends. I love hammer candles at the bottom of trends. From a single candle standpoint, those are the two that I look for the most. We did have a gap up, but then it was pretty much just straight down all day. You've got volume increasing, and this is kind of a effort meets results. So stronger volume, straight down push, a lot of people getting out of the way. Now, you could argue that could be getting out of the way for the CPI print that we have on Tuesday of next week. I said if you lost 408, it could get ugly in a hurry. If we go down here to the shorter time frames, which this is pretty much what I was, let me even go down to the 5 minutes because that's pretty much what I was watching. But this is where I told my Discord we should get a move pretty soon, and then it just, you know, so you had this symmetrical triangle, then you got a breakdown, then a bear flag, then a rising wedge, then another bear flag, and it just was a constant, you know, breaking down. Once you lost that 408, then you had a strong momentum candle down, then you had a push up, and then you had another strong push down on the 15-minute chart, basically another gravestone doji on the 15-minute chart on increasing volume, which you're always going to get. The last candle of the day is always going to be one of your biggest candles. Here's last candle of the day, here's last candle of the day, but as you can see, this is another even above average volume for last candles of the day. Now, the good news is if you're looking at this like a bull flag, you did find support at the bottom of it, okay? Let me clean up this line here just a little bit. All right, there we go. Now, what I don't like about this look, which leads me to a little bit more bearish feelings than anything, is, you know, this right here was your previous supply. And you can see that here's when you know it's strong. That's what I'm always telling, you know, my Discord team. When you know things are strong is when not only does it act as support, but then it also acts as resistance, or vice versa. It acted as resistance, now it's acting as support. So on the way up, this was acting as resistance. Now it was acting as support. Now you lost that level, and then when you pushed back up into it, then you got pressed down again. Now, once again, these are all a little bit more micro looks. Once again, we're looking at 15-minute candles, but that's still not the look. And so, you know, while you look at trends on a more macro basis, I mean, the reality is they start small, right? So you start small, you look at those smaller time frame candles and you go, okay, is this giving me a more bearish look overall? So even though this is a small time frame, we're getting pushed out of here, out of what was our demand zone. And now, you start going back here and you start looking at it, on a daily basis, and things don't look so good, right? So what you would definitely want to see is, and I told somebody on Twitter, I don't remember who it was, but I said my most likely after this was a test of at least the 406, 408 level. I'd go pull it up, but it was yesterday, and I tweet a bunch, and actually I think it was in here. 408 to 406 is what I'm thinking. We'll dive in later. And that was yesterday, pretty much right around this time. And so where did we come test? We came and tested that 406 to 408, even actually got into 405 just a little bit. Did get a push up there. So that is a good sign. But like I said, that showing of on the shorter time frame that now what was our support is starting to act as resistance. That is, that's when you get the moves down, that kind of start doing these moves like that, and you kind of get walked down. So where are we going to next? Well, macro wise, if we were looking at this from a fib, so here was our low at 374. So we are below the 236, so probably down to 400, which would also test our mega bear trend. And once again, this is not me saying, new lows are coming. I did say that we would pull back to like 408, then we would go to 420-ish, and then we would come back to probably 410-ish, and then we could potentially push back up to 430 if we get like a good, and I do think it would be the CPI print that would do that. So we came back down here and we retested, that 407, then we shot all the way up to like 419, and now we are retracing more than what I would hope for another push. Like I said, right now, really want to watch this kind of 406, 408 level. If it continues to act as resistance, that's not going to be good. Then it would, we'd probably just continue to slowly drop until CPI, and then that would determine whether we can push back up or whether or not we can, whether or not we're going to start another leg down at that point in time. Okay, so overall, that's just kind of my thesis on SPY. Tomorrow, I expect another red day overall. Probably back down to the 400 range, somewhere in there, 400, 402. This was a large momentum move. Now on futures, what you'd want to be looking for, let me just pull them up. Just like today, I told my team, automatics reactions, they work in, whoops. What the, why is it not pulling up? Is it not pulling up? Okay, there it is. I was like, why is it not pulling up my chart with everything? So right here, from this move, this is what I've been tweeting about a whole bunch, was the, this bullish trend right here. It's really what we've been holding. Now we've gotten pressed down. You've got some bearish indicators as far as like on the EMAs, your 921 is going to be crossing down. You did find support on the 100 on the EMAs, but like I said, overall this feels like we're going to kind of press back down. My guess is probably around the 0.5. Okay, so right around 4,000, 4,050, right around in there is going to be, most bearish case would be coming down here to the 618. And once again, 618 is still a very normal retracement, so it doesn't mean like the world is ending if we come back here to the 618. But like I said, we're starting to make a series of higher high and then, lower highs and lower lows, and that's obviously that's bearish. So that's what I'm looking for short term. NVDA basically have gotten two shooting stars back to back in this heavy supply range. Both times it's tried to push up, you've gotten rejected off that 225 level and gotten shoved down. It's a pretty volatile stock. Like I said, to me, unless you get a good close above 225, then I think you might need to come down. But this kind of 225 level and range is what I'm watching for the most. With MULN, I did not add longs today, but I plan on doing that soon. I said I probably would if we came back to that 35 range. And honestly, I was just so focused on my SPY puts today that I didn't even look at MULN today. But now looking at the chart, so coming down here, you know, tomorrow you kind of hit in that 33, 34 range. You really want to see this upward trend, you know, really start to hold. The good news is as you've been dropping, the volume has been decreasing. To me, there's no doubt about it that MULN is in an accumulation phase, and it's just really whether or not they wind up delivering on their news and their cars. I still think it's a great lotto play, but that's the way that you need to treat it. You need to not invest any more than what you'd be willing to lose. That's just my 2 cents, not financial advice. I'm just a dude on the internet trying to help. All right, AMC. Last time we updated would have been on Tuesday, right? No. Yeah, so, you know, like I said, we have the bearish engulfing candle on the daily. We've had 2 days of really getting pressed down. This is my first time to look at the chart all day, to be honest with you. I do like to see still finding support in this demand area. So, and I know that new filings have been dropped, and I haven't even looked at them yet, if I'm being honest. So, I will definitely take a look at those. But the reality is, man, is just halts are death nails in this bad boy. I mean, just the halt, death, halt, death, halt, death, halt, death. So if you're playing the option games on if you're playing the long game, you know, you can buy and hold and do whatever you want to do. If you're playing any option games when it comes to memes, man, when those halts happen, well, you do you. I take my money and run when those halts happen. But you are finding support here. That's a good sign. I wouldn't be surprised at all leading up to this. So, you know, no telling if this is going to happen or not, but this is definitely kind of giving me, could this be forming, you know, kind of head and shoulder vibes. You got your neckline right here. And then the push down on a head and shoulders is basically equal to that, the head. So that would take care of that gap fill. I've said all along, I think the gap will eventually fill. It's just, you know, timing of it. Doesn't mean that it can't push back upwards. But you would want to, I mean, there's a lot of resistance overhead. You'd want to clear, you know, this supply zone. You'd want to clear the 200 SMA, simple moving average. You know, and now you're just, like I said, this demand area, and then from a macro standpoint, which I've talked about this before, you'd want to hold the 618. So from the bottom of the January run to okay, not bad. I was like, I know this is the fib that I've been looking at, but so that kind of like 472 area, that's what you want to look at. So if you want to line up it, you need to make sure your chart is in log, not linear. So when you put your chart in linear, then it looks dumb like this. So I always chart in log. And you need to make sure that your fib setting is set to log for that 618 area. So like I said, that's what I'm looking for on AMC. With GME, we're getting awfully close to that kind of 1950 range. Would really like to see. I mean, you can see how, you know, it was pushing up. Then once it broke down, came up and retested previous trend line, has gotten pressed down again. So I actually, 1967, I might sell some puts for GME going into next week for that 1950. I think if you believe in the company long term, I think buying at 1950 is a good spot to buy long term if you believe in the company. All right, but you do you. With Oxy, I was in puts, and then I stop lossed out of them here on this day. And then I re-entered puts the following day. I think my puts are up like 12 or 13% now. I bought a lot of time on these because I plan on this taking, this is 100%, this volume profile screams distribution to me. And like I said, you just recently got its death cross. It might take a little bit to play out, and that's okay with me. I've told my Discord, a good rule of thumb when it comes to options is, let's say if you think the move that you're looking for is going to take about a week to play out, then buy 2 weeks out. If you think it's going to take a month to play out, buy 2 months out. So buy yourself time. Oh, and that buys you insurance, okay? Theta is going to be what eats up those contracts. If you don't know what theta is, you should not be buying or selling options. You should be learning, which I highly encourage you to do. Highly encourage you to learn as much as you possibly can. Always be a learner. And then so like I said, I'm looking for this to make a pretty good move to the downside, at least coming back to about $40 per share. No, I do not care that Warren Buffett is invested in it. I'm trading the chart, not Warren Buffett. All right. Let me go to, I'll save Tesla for last. On Carvana, we got the big push out, we got the breakout, so lower time frame, kind of same thing. Boom, gets halted, just death afterwards. So I'm telling you, man, when halts happen, you can always reposition. Like, just take your profits. Blows my mind people don't take profits, but whatever. Do what's best for you. Now, you got a bearish engulfing candle. It really looks to me like the Carvana run might be over, especially if the market stays bad, which there's this gap down here, down to about 777. Would make a lot of sense for it to come down to that. So basically double bottomed right here. So if we run a fib right there, I mean, look at this. This would make a lot of sense. Coming back down to the 618 would make a whole lot of sense right in here. Might even get like a false breakdown, like, oh no, the overall trend is breaking. But I mean, anywhere between that 0.5, somewhere between 845 to 690 is going to be another good spot to add some longs. Once again, if you want to do it, Carvana would only be a pure options play for me, not a long-term share. But like I said, it's a good looking chart setup. Tesla, yeah. So been waiting for this candle for a while. We got a shooting star gravestone doji on increasing volume. A very good sign that even if the run's not over, I'm not saying tomorrow, but I am saying that this is signs of what you want to see as far as a buying climax goes. If you don't know what a buying climax is, please read Volume Price Analysis by Anna Cooling. But you got a big press down, okay? You got increased volume. It's a very bearish candle, so you got a very narrow spread. So bulls were not able to do much here. Bears were really in charge. Press this thing down from where it, excuse me, from its high of the day. Anytime you've got a really long wick and you've got increased volume, I think this is about to start distribution, which would mean it would come down here. I already said, I think Tesla is coming back to the 140, 150 level. Just depends on how long it takes. And then whether or not we see lower lows is going to all depend on the overall market, whether it sees those lower lows. But Tesla coming back to 147 to 135, this 0.5618, that would be where I would be looking to add longs. I do have both short-term and long-term puts on this. But I'll just, if I get stopped out, I get stopped out. It is what it is. But this is like the ideal type of trade that I've been looking for. Let's see if I didn't even check. Oh, I didn't even see that before. Like, look at that. It's beautiful. 200 daily. Press down right off of that. Just another layer of confluence to this trade and why it makes sense. So, but I'm already in them. I think after hours, already got pushed down to like 204. So obviously a lot can happen over, overnight and pre-market and all that kind of stuff. So not counting my chickens before they're hatched, but it's definitely off to the right start. So I hope this video was helpful to you. Please like and subscribe. Leave me a comment. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to hit me up on Twitter. Once again, doing a big Discord sale the rest of the month of February. You can shoot me a DM if you have any questions or concerns before joining. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Much love, my friends. I will see you in the next video. Tuesday of next week will be the next update. Have a good one.